Well, back with Emera, which might be finished in 5 episodes or less, depending on if I get a good day. I'm still sick. I'm still just falling apart. Oh god. Her feelings with her hands. Why is this all the way down here? Oh, because it's actually up here. Okay. I'm sorry for being sick. I wish I could do something, but it means I got a cough now. Just a lot of coughing. Ugh. God, the song is so melodramatic. You know what? Like, the one thing that bothered me in Scaly Weeks, there's a lot of moments where it's just talking about shit. It's like a mouthpiece, and I don't like my mouthpiece moments. They're not character moments. They're not why you read a novel. You don't read a novel to hear someone jibber jabber about metaphysics, you know. It's not why you pick up a book. You pick up a textbook or something like that. You pick up a research paper. You're not gonna pick up a novel for that. Yeah, my head is all over the place. I want to do something else today for recording, but I guess I'm not. I'm kind of inclined to record that One Piece game. That's really fun. I do like me some good Dynasty games. Because they're good. They're good. The Warriors. Apparently that's called the Warriors. Man, I don't... I got a freaking barbecue dinner. And I gotta go and walk all the way home after that. It's gonna suck. How did I even get sick? Like, really, how did I get sick? I'm gonna have to change my sheets once I'm healthy. Actually, I should be changing them already. Maybe that was the problem. Nah, that translated a bit improperly. I like she's behind humanism. Again, then the religious angle is not tackled in the way that it should be. It's also kind of interesting that she claims to not... The way this is put makes it sound like she's not in charge of Reza, but it might just be that she's, you know, she fucked up with Reza, so she just doesn't want to bring it up. This is really clumsy, but it works in a strange way. Man, this writing has a lot of fallback sentences. Like, I keep mentioning it because it keeps happening! If you continuously use I see and interesting as lines, someone's eventually going to notice if they start analyzing your text. This is what an editor is for. And sometimes I feel like an editor. Which I have to resist because that's not my job. I did it once with fucking ipsum in a sentence that really overstays the boundaries of what logically can be anticipated. Like, he starts off with a theory, but he sounds so certain at the end that it just doesn't make any sense. It's like he talked himself into it, if anything. It'd actually be kind of cool, but it's never established that way, so I can't assume it as such. Oh, man. The funny part is, the once I snort up, it starts ticking in my nose like a freaking Geiger counter. Like, it's really weird. Genuine. There's the word. Oprecht. I don't know a good hand pun. I'm thinking about a pun. Actually, you don't say that very often, pun intended. Ja, woordspeling bedoeld. Like, this song does not fit her as much as it sounds. Like, it sounds dramatic and kind of jungly and energetic, and Emera is none of those things. It's like blasting hardcore rock while Zhang is on the screen. It just doesn't work. You're just death metal as Edine slides into frame. Although she probably would joke around with that more than anyone. I guess that's true. They don't know what the decision... Like, it's very ironic that people that get to criticize stuff usually don't make the decisions and don't understand the systems behind the decisions. You know, like, she has to play a political game, and no one knows about that game or cares about that game and how that influences her decision-making process. When that's much more influential than her actual opinion. Oh, I get what it is. It's supposed to unite the two. Like, they're very... Like, they don't want to they don't want to sit on anything, is kind of what she's getting at, I think? I wonder how expensive it is. Like, is it like America where you need to have a huge campaign budget, or is it something you can just do in private? Like, are there public access channels for this kind of stuff? How involved are dragons in politics, really? Like, considering their habit, I would imagine they're to some extent politically involved. If not genetically, then culturally there gotta be something. Or else politics wouldn't be such a fucking boner for everyone. Yeah. Preordained. Now that's a mouthful. Ah, shit, now I gotta look this up. Translation work. Chapter 1. Born to serve. I like to think that she's actually just following that, you know? Like, would Emera be the kind of person to read that book and go, but that's my life! And then do that more? Like, some people read books like that and they are, like, very strongly influenced by it because they tend to see themselves as a repetition of fate and history. You know. And then they tend to skip the part where the guy who wrote the book got fucking killed. And they're like, I won't get killed, I read the book. And then they get killed anyway, and everyone's like, well, guess history repeats itself just fine, don't it? Perceptive. I know there's a word for that. Yeah, there we go. Fondness. Fondness. Genegen. Ugh. Born to serve. That's it? I've done. Yeah, okay, I just made sure that it wasn't mistranslated. Why is... Oh, yeah, it doesn't come up because this is not the actual... Why did I get that wrong? Just like my father before me. Are you No! How did they marry? Are they like Dharma and Greg? Ugh. Like, here the song kind of works. God, this is so much Emera just chatting. I guess it makes sense, though. She's a politician. She would naturally jibber-jabber on about things. find this interesting. Like, Emera comes across as someone who sacrificed herself every step of the way. Like, she sounds selfish and kind of self-involved, but considering how she's lived her life, it's like she doesn't care about her own existence. She takes minor pleasures, but for the other side, she's about as chaotic good as you can get without being, like... No, she's not chaotic good. She'd probably be neutral good. Like, there's nothing about her that... She's not chaotic because she doesn't go out of her way. She doesn't, like, blackmail people. But she isn't necessarily lawful because she is playing the game, and she is trying to sidestep problems, and she is abusing situations where possible. But she clearly just gives herself up to this. But she doesn't want to, but she... You know, it's like someone who if ever meeting, like, a surfer dude to tell her to just mellow out, she would just not have done any of this. Ever. I wonder what our parents think about this now. Jesus Christ, Emera, what the fuck is your life? You know, like, why hasn't that come up? Like, I imagine there's, like, pieces about this. Like, this is easy to trace. Her parents are public figures. This is all public. They're not KGB spies or CIA agents. So keeping this under the rug is pretty tough. Like, if they met, and, like, it depends on what the political position is. But considering the circumstance of her parents, there would be people that would ask questions about this very educated person out of a random mining town suddenly getting this position with parents in power, you know? If only just as a conspiracy theory. I like this one. Here. So this is. So how do you sit? How do you sit? How do you sit with it? Like what's your what are you now? I'm here behind a desk with a stack of documents and requested autographs instead of books, and I'm also popular. She's very polarizing. God damn it, this is hard to put down. It's a very good... I do like her stance on the matter is, why should I put forth all this effort when all that effort is for naught? Like, the effort just makes people happy, but doesn't accomplish anything. It's kind of weird they want to build, like, solar panels on Trump's wall. Wasn't Trump, like, all for reinvigorating the coal industry, and now he's building a giant solar wall? Like... We're pretty much one press conference away from where he starts off saying, we will go to war. We will not be going to war, but we will be going to war. And that's just the entire speech. And his PR manager's like, sorry, I was a bit late. Did he give the conference yet? I have the script. Man, that dude does not give a shit. It's got its charms, but at the same time, considering the amount of people's lives he's messing with, you know, it's kind of like telling a joke by burning down an orphanage. The amount of damage might be a little more than the joke is warranting. That's what I'm saying. Oh well, I hope the people that voted for him are happy. Because that's the least you can ask for as a voter, is that your wishes are granted. And if not, at least you'll know better next time. You know, it can go both ways. You shouldn't say, but you voted for him, so you should be ashamed of yourself. No! That's how I get people to vote for someone regardless of what they think of their political platform. Because they're not going to vote for your candidate, the asshole, which is, by the way, a problem with the two-party system more than any other system. Because if it's two-party, you either vote for the people that just mocked you, or you vote for the person that you know is wrong, but at least he doesn't mock you, and he's trying to be friends, you know? It's kind of a problem. And no one seems to be aware of it at times. They're like, if we just shame them enough... No! Unless you're planning to go into the voting booth and shame them right there and then, they're still going to vote for that person. You dumbass! Unless you put a gun to his head, in which case, it's not a democracy anymore. You might want to reconsider your political... Like, even fucking Putin doesn't walk into your voting booth with a gun. He has the decency to wait outside if he has to, you know? Or just not care. Because he doesn't have opponents. Ah, tomato, tomato. I mean, if Trump was a competent president, he'd probably be taking care of his opposition right now, if anything. I do like that I saw a video where it's like he apparently, like, a video of the future and he won second term, and the only comment under the video was, how the hell did that happen, and they're still being America? And I'm like, that's exactly the problem, people. You're overestimating the power of the president, for one. He's not Putin. He doesn't have that kind of power. Heck, that's the entire United States problem. Like, the United States at the beginning of its conception was extremely fragile and weak because no one wanted any power to be... No one had centralized power. Like, the president can do shit, yes, but the whole point of the Americas is the centralized power and the local smaller powers are constantly at odds with each other. There's a constant struggle. Like, you can do a lot at state level or at county level that the president can't do shit about. And vice versa. It's something you have to keep track of. It's why so many people like just vote for Congress, because you can stop them. Yeah, you can. Because when you oversimplify the elections to the president, then you're not really voting. You're just pretending to vote. You don't really care about what happens in politics, because they'd be voting locally as well. You know? At least here, I get a fucking letter whenever elections are happening. And I go vote, no matter what it is. I wonder when they're gonna call the whole thing off. Like, the negotiations for the second chamber are basically fucked at this point. Like, if they're going to reach any consensus, it's not going to be one anyone's going to agree to, or going to be too happy with. You know, because the longer it drags on, the more people make concessions they don't want to make. And whatever the coalition's going to be, it's going to be nothing. There's going to be no agreement. It all happens because the PVDA blew up. Because the Labour Party stopped representing people. Fun fact, United Kingdom. If you stop representing the people that vote for you, you're not going to get votes. That's how voting works. You appease the people that actually go vote. And for that matter, don't represent a cause no one supports either. And think you can get away with it. It doesn't work like that. Like, the whole Labour Party kind of started falling apart. And I mean, you can say what you want about Wilders, but he does carry the interest of people at heart. You know, people are concerned about this. They want answers to questions. And no one is willing to offer any proper questions or answers in response. So they go to the only guy, even if he has the stupidest answers that aren't going to work, at least he's answering the questions. You know? And that's the problem. Is you get votes because, not because, so many people are sidestepping issues because they're unpleasant issues to talk about. Like the migrant crisis. You can't support them. You're gonna have to start turning away people. And if you don't want to address that, you're kind of fucked. Like with Labour, the guy's like, what are you gonna do if you have to launch a nuclear bomb? Like, if there's a nuke in the air and it's going to hit the UK soon, are you gonna use the nuclear arsenal and retaliate? Which is the fucking point of a nuclear arsenal, is to retaliate a nuclear attack. Ironic as it is. And he says, well, I don't want to avoid using the nuclear... Fun fact. There's no one who's going to vote for you, because there are a lot of nuclear bombs in the world, and they'd rather know that whoever holds the button is going to make sure that that country can't send a second bomb, you know? I'm not going to vote for him, just on that point alone, because I'd rather know that the country isn't going to do it again, either because A, they got nuked, or B, they're all dead. Either is a good option, compared to they will do it again, and someone else will have to blow them up, you know? An eye for an eye is a fair term to use if someone is shooting one of the most destructive weapons in human history at you. And Corbyn goes, well, I'd rather avoid using nuclear bombs. If someone's shooting a nuke at you, there's no space for diplomacy. In case you haven't noticed, Corbyn, the whole Cold War, people didn't shoot nukes and they were already past diplomacy. Like, he doesn't understand how that works. Or what nuclear deterrent is. The whole point of having nukes is everyone has nukes, so no one's going to shoot them because they're going to get destroyed if they do. And that's the problem, that he is unwilling to answer. So people are going to vote for the guy that is willing to answer that question, even if they're a fucking idiot. Because they want answers, not sidestepping and being like, well, it's a difficult problem to answer. We'll maybe answer it at some point. No. These people are afraid now. They want answers now. You have to answer them. Even if it's an unpleasant answer that will alienate some of your voter base, you have to answer them. If you sidestep it, everyone that might vote for you isn't going to, by default, because you're not answering their questions, and you're not giving them an idea that you're a candidate they should vote for. Because you're sidestepping issues. Your whole point is solving issues, and you're sidestepping them. That's like you're not going to hire a miner that's going to throw the pickaxe aside and start growing flowers. That's not what you hire him for. So that's not what you're going to get. I like how this turned this, but it's kind of what Emera comes to is, you can't make everyone happy, so at least do something and make some people happy, you know? At least do something and make some people happy. The rest will be angry, yes, but you'll have done something, and some people will feel that the political system is still capable of achieving something, and they'll come back, and, you know, I think that that's a positive development, even if it makes people angry, because angry people vote! Angry people vote because they're not complacent! Or they'll shoot you with a gun and try to overthrow the government. But that's if you mess up a little too much. Just saying, you might want to avoid that part by doing stuff earlier. You know? On that note, I kind of want to see when Trump's intending to build that wall. Because that wall is going to take more than 4 years to build. And, I'm putting it on good chances that whoever's going to follow him up, if they're not Republican, is going to stop that wall. So you might want to have it finished by then. Because people are going to be like, but there's a giant hole in this wall. Like, they're all going to come out there now. Fun fact. Weakest link is the thing that happens. Oh man, you know what's really cool? Is they have huge fiberglass cables on the bottom of the ocean. You should see those boats. They have huge... Oh man, we're going to see this. Fiberglass cable boat. Because fiberglass cable is... No, not... What the fuck is this? Why is shopping always the second one? Fiberglass boat Atlantic? Internet cable. Yeah, these. I think this is it. Yeah, this. Like, this kind of stuff. This. Look at this. Someone has to like, the cables between the United States and Europe that are carrying internet are ginormous cables on the bottom of the ocean. Look at these things. These giant... Look at this. Someone has to take this spool across the Atlantic and lay it and make sure it doesn't break. Because if it breaks, good luck fixing that problem. Goddamn. Like, that's awesome. Like, that's so impressive that you could do that. A little bug go... Burp, 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 burp. And it probably takes forever, because they have to go slowly so that the cable doesn't snap or flow too much and break apart at some point. Because of how weight works. Then again, when you go deep enough, eventually the wire's gonna float, because it's lighter than the water... yeah, how does that work again? Yeah, it's lighter than the water density at that point. Like, as you go lower, density increases because of water above it pushing the water down. So at some point, the cable floats if it doesn't hit the ground. Which is kind of awesome. You can go deep enough that you cannot go down anymore because it would take too much energy to push yourself further. It's also why even if you were to build a... I think vacuum protection would work, but the problem with vacuum protection is you need something very strong to keep intact. Wow. Like, that's the thing that people tend to skip, you know? I guess that's why a two-party system would eventually start to evolve. I mean, like, the thing is, in the Netherlands, I guess we technically did have a two-party system. Like, for the vast majority, it was the VVD and the PVDA were, like, big enough they could form a coalition on their own. So technically it was sort of a two-party system. Like, there was this core of very like-minded individuals who had been working together for forever against all these tiny little baby parties all over the place. You know, I do like the fucking problem of you need to have a coalition to lure. Yeah, but if you're gonna need a coalition, then you're also kind of going... I guess it influences, and that's the whole point, is you influence the negotiations. You create the possibility that your idea gets through, you know? Smaller parties usually make smaller concessions to get further. Because small decisions is all they can make. It's like, you know, like the more religious parties are like, well, we want to do this, but only in our main voting area. That could be like that, you know, like our main voting area is going to have any problems with this. If you can do this, it could be something like that, you know? Like something simple that the other part is like, well, I guess it doesn't hurt us, our voter base, so we can do that. Like, they won't be angry because it's not our land. You know? But that creates segmentation and pillarization, and trust me when I say pillarization is a bad thing! We had it for so long! It's not good! If only because if you're Protestant and your only Protestant baker is a dipshit and the Catholic baker is good, you can't switch bakers! Ah, you're boned! The capitalist system has failed you! The thing is, and here's something that I want to get into. Don't worry, this is an Angel Scaly Wings thing. Dragons are claimed, or at least implied, to be genetically imposed to be conservative, to resist change. They're socialist, but they resist change. This means that, like, there'd be an inclination for dragons and politicians that play it safe, that perpetuate the status quo, you know? Like, it's the norm, because that's what people are kind of expecting, is today will be like tomorrow. And that kind of stuff. Like, it's a very odd political landscape to work in, knowing that the people are just... They're not going to vote for someone spectacular. I guess wouldn't that make them more complacent? Because they're like, oh, the next politician won't be different. Like, that would mean that, like, someone who is spectacular would get more chances, because they're different, and thus inspire the ones that are interested in something different. Man! Like I said, a very, very difficult political climate to fully understand and realize. The kind that would take hundreds of books to fully realize, if not less. She's right, though. Political suicide is not as big a deal as people make it out to be. You can always work somewhere else, you know? Like, if you're in a position of political power, you probably know people, and you can probably get another job. Like, her parents could get her one, too. What does she have to lose? That, and apparently she doesn't value the position. I'm gonna stop. For one, I'm ranting too much, and two, I'm way too sick. 90% of what I'm saying is garbage, so I think, I should open up my door and let the air go through. Why is this room hot? It is cold outside! My room should not be hot! My heater is off and cool, but my room is hot. I might have a fever, and my room is hot. What the fuck is wrong with my room? Why does it retain heat and somehow generate heat? Like, where is this energy coming from? Is my room violating the laws of entropy or thermodynamics? Because if it is, I'm going to call some people and sell it. Because this does not make sense. Like, it could be that the roof is still warm. Because it's one of those shit roofs that absorbs hundreds of thousands of kilojoules of energy and keeps radiating heat for years to come. Ugh. That, and it doesn't blow through very easily. Ugh. I'm so sweaty. Ugh.